Hi, this is Aaron Wilson. I'm at the NFL Scouting Combine, where we spoke with Texans coach DeMeco Ryans today for an extensive conversation about the state of the team, about the offensive line, about Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell's recovery from a devastating knee injury, and many more topics. When you look at where the Texans stand as a team that's a playoff squad, a defending division champion, and a team that really can consider themselves a true contender, they are all about taking the next step. And to do that, it's pretty obvious where they need to improve. And we talked a lot with DeMeco about the offensive line. And he acknowledged there were a lot of miscues. There were problems with the offensive line. And it's been well documented. The pass protection, the inability to protect C.J. Stroud. He was sacked 52 times. Nowhere more emblematic of the struggles of the offensive line than the playoff loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. That's when they allowed 8 sacks and 14 total quarterback hits. So there's really no way for CJ to be as successful as he can be without better protection. And they think that one of the reasons it'll be improved is promoting Cole Popovich to head offensive line coach and run game coordinator and speaking with one voice. So DeMeco Ryans, that was his language, kind of alluding to the fact that they need to have a more unified message about who's doing what. And it needs to be Cole Popovich's vision and Nick Caley's vision for how best to protect C.J. Stroud. So that was good to hear. And I know that Caley and Popovich, from their background, working together with the Patriots, working with Dante Scarnecchia, one of the best offensive line coaches in NFL history, that should be helpful to them. But it's also about personnel. And they've got to look at how do they get the best 5 on the field. You've got Pro Bowl left tackle Laramie Tunsil. When he's not having false starts, one of the best offensive linemen in the league, regardless of position. And made the Pro Bowl again for the 5th time. At left guard, it's a problem. Kenyon Green didn't work out over there at the left side. They picked him in the 1st round. They had to put Titus Howard over there when they had injuries at the position. And he's better at right tackle, in my opinion. That's his natural spot. I thought that rookie Blake Fisher had his moments, but he wasn't someone that really you could say, we're surefire, that's the guy for his 2nd NFL season. They'll keep working with him. I think he showed potential. He also had a lot of missed blocks and allowed some sacks. And at right guard, Shaq Mason, maybe he'll be back, maybe he won't. DeMeco Ryans didn't get any specifics about personnel, but with Shaq, I think that they've got to think about, has he hit the end of the road, or do they think that they can rejuvenate him with different training methods, or maybe he takes some more time off before this next season? So we'll see. That is in flux. So is center with Jared Patterson, technique strong and underweight, not the biggest guy at the point of attack. And then Juice Scruggs, very prone to injuries, especially lower body injuries, and so that clouds his future. So basically, they've got one offensive lineman set, and they've got to settle on the other 4. So DeMeco knows that, and they're looking at the offensive lineman. They're looking at some of these good offensive linemen at the draft, like Tyler Booker from Alabama, and they won't be in the sweepstakes, in my opinion, and what I'm hearing, for Trey Smith, the Chiefs star guard. He's just too expensive for a team that is barely under the salary cap, has to restructure some contracts like Danielle Hunter's and others to have more breathing room and more flexibility financially to spend more and to upgrade this roster. So a lot of this is going to have to be built with lower budget items on your spending sheet and drafting well. And they have the 25th overall pick. So they're kind of in an interesting spot there where there'll be some offensive linemen left. There'll be some wide receivers like Emeka Egbuka from the Ohio State Buckeyes program. And, of course, you'll see Matthew Golden from Texas. They've got a lot of wide receivers that'll be available at that spot. But, another thing with the Texans is their current wide receivers. Stephon Diggs is a free agent, and DeMeco Ryans was non-committal on whether he'll be back. He's a pending free agent. He's coming off a torn ACL. The takeaway I got from DeMeco, he didn't really give anything away about whether Steph will be back, so they loved having him here. They've spoken about him a little bit in the past tense, and they haven't been really leading any conversation saying that he's going to be back. I think he'll hit free agency, and if someone offers him a lot of money, then he's gone. So that's okay. They need to get younger at the position. With Tank Dell, a positive update in terms of his mood, his recovery, and they said he's headed in the right direction. What I'm hearing is that it's very unlikely that he'll play in 2025, but it's good to hear that he's, enthusiastic about his recovery and how he's doing, and feels good about his chances for just to make a full recovery at all. So what's happened to his knee? It was the Chiefs playoff, not the playoff game, but the Chiefs' first game in December at Arrowhead Stadium, and he tore his medial collateral ligament, his lateral collateral ligament, and his anterior cruciate ligament, and he also dislocated his entire knee. And meniscus damage was not significant to the knee. He's had the lateral collateral and his MCL repaired. The next is a reconstruction of the ACL. Once that happens, then the clock starts ticking toward when can he be back. With the timing of the injury, it's going to be very difficult, as we've reported many times, whether Tank can play in 2025. More importantly is his outlook for the future, and he will eventually make a full recovery. And I've been told that he has a good outlook. It's obviously a devastating knee injury, so we'll see when Tank can get back out there. One issue the Texans don't have is quarterback. Unlike a lot of these teams that are going to be involved in gauging, should they go with Cam Ward, should they go with Shadur Sanders, when is it the time to pull the trigger on getting a new franchise quarterback? The Texans are in good hands with C.J. Stroud. Even though he regressed some statistically, I think a lot of that's attributable to the 52 sacks and the multiple hits that he endured, and of course the play calling, which ultimately led to offensive coordinator Bobby Slow expiring. So now with Nick Caley and Stroud, they're already meshing well. For D'Amico Ryans, they're talking. They're having a lot of good conversations about the offense, and so far it's going well. And that's what you would expect. And I think that look at CJ, who's been a fan of the Sean McVay offense and all the good things that they're doing with the Rams. I think that this is a good mesh with Caley, who has concepts from his time with Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski from the New England Patriots, and his background with Sean McVay, and of course coached extensively at the college level on defense and offense. So I think it's a good fit to have Caley with Stroud, and look forward to seeing what they can do together as they collaborate. We did talk to D'Amico a bit about the staff, and he feels good about the staff they put together and retaining a lot of coaches. I know a lot of people have said, well, why did this coach stay? Why didn't they make more changes? And he says the reason is because he feels like these are good coaches and they deserve to be here. And he feels good about the makeup of the staff. Obviously, there weren't a lot of changes. They added Frank Okam as assistant defensive line coach to replace Nate Ollie. They added Jerry Shaplinski. Kind of wish I'd asked about Jerry Shaplinski. Mental note to ask Nick Caserio on Wednesday about Jerry. I'd like to hear his thoughts on a fellow John Carroll University alum and someone that is very highly regarded for his work with quarterbacks, including one of the better seasons Daniel Jones had with the Giants. Ryan Fitzpatrick, one of his statistically best seasons. So with Jerry, that's good that they have him as another sounding board to help Nick Caley implement this offense. He was the passing game coordinator. Now he's a senior offensive assistant and a passing game specialist for the Texans. And the Texans will be meeting with several prospects. They've already had a lot of meetings. They'll be having more meetings, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're drafting that particular player, but it is interesting to see just what kind of activity they have here. And we'll have you covered extensively here at the NFL Scouting Combine. Be sure to watch all my YouTube videos, and please like and subscribe. And we'll have more coverage, of course, at www.click2houston.com and on television at KPRC2. Until next time, I'm Aaron Wilson, signing off from the Combine.